Hey Chillax, how you doing? Hey Patrick, how's it going? Well, it's going to be a bit interesting because um, usually what I do is when I do a live, I'm actually just going to move to the other camera, rather to the other phone mount. Actually, maybe not. Basically, I'm on Wi-Fi. That's the thing, because where I'm at, it's in a valley, so there's no 4G reception. There's no data on the phone, so I'm parked right outside the house, so that I'm getting the Wi-Fi. And with the Wi-Fi, it means that I don't get the comments. And I can see them when they pop up on the screen. No, I'm not in the big smoke anymore. I'm on vacation at the moment. Tonight's the last night, actually. So I'm in the Yorkshire Dales, beautiful part of the country. So usually what I would do is I would have my second phone and I would see the comments on the second phone and respond that way. But the Wi-Fi here has been restricted, so you can't actually, it doesn't allow you to see comments. But thankfully on the live, it is letting me see the comments as they pop up on the screen. So I've got to try and make sure that I catch them, that's all. I mean, my data is okay in London, as you'd expect. It's very good in London most of the time, not always, but most of the time. But in the countryside, it's very patchy. You know, sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's not so great. Usually, the nearer you get to a town, the better it is. So I'm kind of debating what to actually smoke tonight. What I brought out with me is the remainder of the Balkan Sobrani. I've given most of this tin away now. There was a few people who wanted to try it who had never tried it before, so I've sent a few baggies out. I sent one baggie to Mark Welsh Piper. I sent one to Bob Tracking Piper, and I sent one to Dale Piper. And I've got maybe half a dozen bulbs left here. And since I don't smoke Latakia that much, it should last me a good while. To be honest, I'm not really in the mood for Latakia right now, if I'm perfectly honest with you. What I do have as well is a batch of Clan which I picked up on Friday, but I'm not going to open this here because I need to find the right pipe for this. I have to look it up first of all to see what's in it. I know there's a whole kitchen sink amount of tobaccos in here. There's a whole load. I think there's 12 or 13 different blends in here, different tobaccos rather. And one of them I think is Latakia and possibly Lakeland as well. I'm not sure if there's Lakeland in here or not. So I'm not taking a chance on any of my pipes because the pipes that I've brought with me are all favourite pipes. So that's going to wait till I get back to London for sure. I did treat myself to a new phone case for my iPhone 13 mini. This was the last iteration that they did, the mini. It has the MagSafe magnet on there, and it also came with, very cool, was a lens cover to cover this whole section here, so it protects the lenses. I polished up the lenses before applying it, and it just means that I just need to wipe that, and hopefully that keeps the lenses nice and crystal. It's been really, really nice here. Today, right now actually it's drizzling a little bit, but overall it's been really, really nice. Can't complain about the weather at all. We had some quite warm patches. Did I miss a message? Caterini. Space Force. I haven't even seen that. Anyway, so I brought out my one and only sandblasted LCS pipe. It's got a contrast blast on there. Lovely craggy ring grain on this pipe. This pipe was sandblasted by Larison Pipes. Did a wonderful job. And I've had many offers on this pipe, but I can't quite bring myself to part with it. I've done about half a dozen sandblasted pipes, and they've all sold. I kind of regret's a strong word, but one of them I would have liked to have kept. It took a long time to sell, and after it did sell, I kind of regretted it. I've had that a few times, not many times, but I've had a few times where I've sold pipes and regretted it. And like I say, regret is a strong word, but pipes that I can say that I would have liked to have kept for myself, and didn't. And if I do decide to sell this one day, I'm sure that I'll get to a point where I want it back. I might regret it. If somebody was to offer me back one of the other pipes that I sandblasted, I'd probably buy it. One in particular that I would like to get back, but probably any of them. Those, well, I suppose until I get to sandblasting myself, I really, really hope it won't be time when I get sandblasting going. I think this is my third try of this Vulcan Sobrani of this tin. The first time I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Got a really nice nutty flavour initially when lighting it, and then got this really nice refined kind of Latakia flavour. But I found on the second one, I smoked it in a different pipe, and I didn't really enjoy it as much. Yeah, Uncle Larry. Brown twist for chillax. Agriarch, how you doing? There's no doubt that tobacco tastes different in different pipes. And I definitely found that with this blend. Cabby's mixture is a very nice blend. You may recognize this watch. I haven't worn it in a long time. It's a Seiko Kinetic driver's watch. It's pretty bashed up. I've had this one for a good number of years, and it has served me very, very well. And being kinetic, it recharges itself. And I didn't want to bring any of my nice watches out on holiday in case anything happened to them. So I just brought this one out. I've been wearing the Apple Watch most of the time. I bought this watch and the Apple Watch. Cabby's mixture is nice. It's been a long time since I tried Cabby's mixture, I have to be honest. A very long time. But it always sticks in my memory as a blend which gets the juices flowing in my mouth. It seemed to have that effect on me. This Balkan Sobrani tastes very good in this pipe, it really does. It's woodsy, it's got a sweet Latakia flavour, which is really what I like. Sweet, not too acidic, not too acrid, not too ashy. It was an option to go for a drive tonight whilst I was live, but it has started to rain a little bit. And because it hasn't really rained very much, the roads will be quite slippy. And some of them are we're quite high up, and some, although I'm down in the valley at the moment, but just literally 2 minutes up the road and I'm already climbing the mountain, climbing the hill anyway. And on a lot of the roads there isn't really much in the way of guardrails. It's just, you know, maybe a little stone wall if you're lucky, and that's it. And then you're off down the hill. Ash Clark, 1820 mixture. Tempted to refill. I've not had 1820 mixture. I've only had the flake, which I've actually really liked. The mixture, what is it? Is it also like a Balkan mixture? What's it good? Got an early start tomorrow. Officially, we're supposed to be out of the house by 10. Is it the same blend, really? I've given to understand that it's not. Yeah, the flake is the one to go for. Maybe I'll get some of the mixture and try it out sometime. Yeah, so we've got an early start tomorrow. Officially, it's supposed to be out by 10 a.m. The ridiculous thing is that when you come in the first day, they don't let you in until 3, 4 in the afternoon. So you've pretty much wasted that day. And then on the day that you leave, you've got to leave first thing. So that day's pretty much messed up. I guess if they have a new guest coming in on the Sunday afternoon, they need time to clean up and to get it ready for the next guest. So they need a few hours. I understand that, but 10 o'clock in the morning to be up and packed and cleaned and out. It's a bit much. So we've started packing tonight. But there's still a lot to do. Mostly packing up the kids' things, which are all over the place, and packing up any remnants of food that we have. Then cleaning up. Even though there is cleaning which happens in between guests, you still want to be respectable and clean the place up, at least moderately. You don't want to leave it in a mess. Yeah, Oscar. So I'm smoking my sort of brandy glass, LCS sandblasted brandy glass with some Balkan Sobrani. And this is what does it say? What's the number on there? See, it might be 2018, I'm not sure. Might be 2018. Yeah, it's really nice. Like I say, it's the third bowl I've had of this from this tin. The first bowl was fantastic. The second bowl, I found it too strong and pungent. I don't remember which pipe I had it in. I think it might have been the Boswell, I don't remember. But I didn't enjoy it as much. But in this pipe, it's really good. It's smoking very well. This is a Latakia pipe. I don't smoke it that often, but I do use it just for Latakias. And I find it's very much like the Northern Briars Quebec that I have, in that it's very neutral tasting. So whatever tobacco I smoke in it, it gives me a faithful representation of the flavor profile of any flavors to it. It's giving you just an accurate depiction of that tobacco, and I find that this does the same. It's very neutral, very dry. In other words, the briar is very well seasoned. That's what it feels like to me. We went for a nice walk today. And we walked across the little river, and then on a sort of public footpath, and we came across a very interesting thing. There's a mill, one of the largest millstones. Um, I'm not sure if it's in Yorkshire or in England. I'm not sure. It's not used anymore. I'm not even sure that the millstone is there. But there was a poster talking about it. It's private land, so you can't just walk onto it. But next to it, cigar beetles are a problem, Oscar. You need to be careful with that. Is it a single cigar or is it in a box of cigars? Have you checked all the other cigars? Well, if you haven't, you need to check all the other cigars. Don't take a risk. And if check every single cigar in that humidor, you just don't know. And just check for any telltale signs. Okay, cool. If you did check them, that's great. I think though that you should get it in a single cigar. If you have a humidor where you've just got all of your cigars bunched together, or was it in a box of cigars, of a single brand? So at least it kind of is self-contained if it's in a box. But if they're a bunch of singles, then it's a bit of a problem. It's Cuban feet. But if you have any suspicions at all, then just stick them all in the freezer overnight. It really depends on your humidity and temperature, because generally, I know here in the UK, if you buy official cigars, in other words, if you buy retail cigars, EMS they're called, and it's generally run by Hunters and they basically got the monopoly, you could call it that. They are in charge of all Cuban cigars as they come into the country. They go into their bonded warehouse, and they all get frozen. Every single cigar that comes through Hunters and Francout gets frozen. So in case there are any eggs, in case there are any beetles, they get frozen. It's then up to you to ensure that the temperature doesn't rise over, say, 80, 85 degrees. Because once you get to 85, 83, 84, something like that, that's the natural temperature for those eggs to hatch. And sometimes when you smoke a cigar and you suddenly get a little pop, a little fizz, sometimes that's just an egg popping. Yeah, 65, 68, that should be fine. And sometimes you could have a dead beetle inside your cigar and not know about it. You smoke it and suddenly the cigar tastes weird, tastes funky. That's possibly why. You're smoking a beetle. Beetlejuice. Yeah, let's hope so, Oscar. I really hope so for your sake that it's a one-off. All being well, it's just a one-off. My beard's growing long again. It's part of the mourning process. After you're in mourning for a close relative, in my faith, we don't cut our hair on head or on the face for at least 3 months, and then after that you keep it until people start to tell you that you look like a caveman. So at the moment it's a couple of months so far. But truth be told, I've been wanting to grow my beard out. I grew it out actually just before my mum passed. I think on the day my mum passed, because I actually just trimmed my beard that day. If I would have left it that day, then it would have been a lot longer. I think I've done this bowl. It's not letting me relight. Yeah, that's that bowl dry. Well, that smoked right to the heel and bone dry. Let's see what the filter looks like. I don't usually break a pipe down straight after smoking. It's reasonable. There is some staining there on the end, but it's not leaching out like you do sometimes get with a tobacco that's really, really wet. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some roll cake, even though it's a Latakia pipe. It might be an interesting smoke, a bit of Latakia and vanilla. That might be quite cool. I do that every so often, just to see what it's like. Smoke an aromatic in a Latakia pipe, or vice versa. So with a vanilla roll cake, okay, this is a little bit beaten up now because it's been in the bag for a few days, but you get obviously the coins. And what I tend to do sometimes is I'll layer 2 or 3 coins on top of each other, and I'll just bend them in half lengthways, and then I'll just tease them a little bit to loosen it up, and then put it in the bowl. And then as you light it, as it warms up, it'll expand and grip the sides of the bowl. So don't push it in too far. And those rolls will just expand. So you know, sometimes you might load 2 or 3 coins and there's still loads of room in the pipe, and you think there's going to be too much air. Basically, it becomes a crossover blend because you're adding aromatics to a Latakia pipe, a Latakia blend. Well, Latakia pipe in this case. Starts off with a really nice, nutty, woodsy flavour. I like that when you just freshly lighting a new pipe, you get that nutty kind of flavour coming through. That's why sometimes I'm quite happy if a pipe goes out, just so that I can relight it. Can't believe it's been a week now since I got stopped by the police. I got stopped literally 10 minutes after we arrived. I sort of told the story in one of the first videos here. I can't believe it's a week ago already. Feels like yesterday. And we go over that junction almost every week. My kids all shout out, "Give way, give way. You don't want to get executed." The policeman said to us that if I get stopped again, I'm going to get prosecuted. And one of my kids made a mistake and said executed. So that's been a running joke now. If I get stopped again, I'm going to get executed. I will say this, that the vanilla roll cake, the profile of it is changed in this pipe because it's a Latakia pipe. One of the highlights of vanilla roll cake for me is, besides for the vanilla flavour which you get in all of the vanilla blends from McBaron, whether it's loose cut or whether it's the vanilla flake or the roll cake, you obviously get nice vanilla flavours. But the roll cake for me has that additional sort of bready, cookie dough kind of flavour. And that is lost in this pipe because the Latakia seems to overpower that. But still interesting. I got stopped because I went through a give way sign where I was supposed to stop and let the crossing traffic go across. It was a crossroads. It was actually very, very dangerous. But the lines on the road where it shows you to stop, there's white lines to show that it's an end and you have to stop there and give way. There's it all rubbed out over the years. And the give way sign, which is a red triangle, which is on a pole, was kind of partly obscured by tree branches. It's the countryside. And it was a genuine mistake. To the policeman, I said, the road signs are completely rubbed out. Didn't see it. I just went straight on through as if it was a continuous road. And this policeman was literally, I was going across straight over and he was coming this way. A second later, I'd have gone straight into him. And I think he was actually quite shaken, possibly, at the prospect that he was a second away from a serious accident. And he was trying to impress that upon me, which he didn't have to, because I realized the second it happened, I realized that I'd gone through the side of the road. I saw the white lines, and I was shocked myself. And perhaps the fact that he saw, perhaps he detected that I was being genuine about it, and he let me go. He checked everything else. He checked the car over, checked that the tyres and everything were all legal, and checked, on the radio, he checked that the license and the insurance and MOT, that was all okay. Thankfully, all was okay, and he let me off with a warning. But he told me that if I get stopped again for any other reason whilst I'm in the area, that I will get prosecuted. So to be honest, I have to be thankful on two counts. Number one, that we didn't have an accident, and number two, that he let me go. I was lucky. But it feels like it happened just yesterday, and it was a week ago. It was Sunday, and it is now Sunday, so it's a week ago. It's a shame we don't get a vanilla roll cake here in the UK. It's a really fantastic tobacco. I don't smoke many aromatics. I have several in my fairly regular rotation. This one certainly is in my rotation regularly. But I have a couple of others, namely Erin Morflake is certainly one that I smoke. I need to really stock up on Erin Morflake. I've got a couple of tins, but that's about it, if that. Maybe even just one tin. So I definitely need to stock up on that. No, we don't. But I'm looking forward to getting back home, getting back on the pipe making. And while my kids... So the Latakia roll cake, Oscar, I do have some of that. I have a few tins of that. I have a jar open of that. And I've let it age to see how it improves, because when I first got it, when it first came out, you can't get that here either. I tried it and I found it a little bit too much Latakia, too much of that sort of campfire style Latakia. Wasn't my style of Latakia, so I left it in the jar just to see how it goes. It's actually, I think it's still out in the garage on my shelf. I think it's from either 2019 or 2020, so it's already got some years on it. And I have several tins in my cellar as well. I wonder... It's too barbecuish for my fresh. Yeah, that's what it was like to me when I tried it. I need to really try it again. I tried it maybe a few months ago, and I did sense an improvement. But I should really try it again. I should bring the jar in. Maybe do another impressions video on that. I assume that that's available in the pound bag as well. If I like it, maybe I'll get a pound bag to put away. I do have a couple of pound bags of the vanilla roll cake, which Jeff WV Piper and James Stumbo helped me out with very kindly. Hey, smarty bub. You let it dry out a bit, that helps, does it? Oh yeah, it would be better in the winter, I agree. But at the moment here it's raining, it's not hot. Especially at night in the countryside. It can get quite cool. So a Latakia blend is not a terrible thing to have. But I do find that a vanilla roll cake is actually a very warming tobacco. It has a very there's no doubt that it's one of my favorite tobaccos. It would be in my top three if I had to make a top three. It'd be in my top two, to be honest, these days, because I'm not smoking Latakia very much. So top two would be OGS and vanilla roll cake, without a doubt. And number three, and I'm not even taking into account London Fog, because London Fog is something which works for me always. But I kind of smoke it very, very what's the word? I hardly ever smoke it because I don't want to run out of it. I want it to always be available in case I just don't fancy anything else. So I just smoke it very carefully, very sparsely, very sparingly is the word I was looking for. So after number three, I would have to say Northwoods, even though I don't smoke it very much these days. But I don't think that I would ever want to be without Northwoods, especially in the winter months. If I'm ever fancying a Latakia, I know that I could go to 1820 flake. I know I could go to special Latakia flake. Hey Miles. But I would never want to be without Northwoods. Been a great servant to me, especially in the years before I discovered 9mm pipes. I struggled so much with tongue bite that the only thing I could tolerate was Latakia blends, and chief amongst them was always Northwoods. Northwoods has been my number one Latakia blend for years now. And I think I'm on my final jar of it. It's a tobacco that I used to build up my cellar on, and by the time I got to each jar, it was 2 or 3 years old. And by the time I finished that jar, the next jar was 2 or 3 years old. I'll usually have something like 8 ounces in each jar, and buy one 8-ounce bag each year, and then each year I would put it away for 2 or 3 years, and then it would be ready by the time I got to it. But I haven't done that for a couple of years now. For maybe 3 or 4 years now, I haven't topped up. I really do need to do that. The problem is that the shipping now is ridiculous. Everything is getting stopped. People are talking about even the smoking pipe stuff getting stopped. Smipes was the only one where you could trust that it would get through, and now those aren't getting through. And I've got a feeling that when I get home, I'll have a customs and excise letter, because I ordered I ordered some of the small batch from Cornell and Deal. It wasn't something that I was going to after, but when I got on, it was still available, so I figured, yeah, what the hell. I was going to order all the golden slice, but I saw that, and I thought, if it's available, it's usually difficult to get. It usually sells out really quickly when they release the small batches. So I figured, yeah, go for it. So I ordered 2 tins, and I think 3 cigars, possibly. I can't recall exactly what the order was. But my son, who's at home, he hasn't said that I got a delivery, which means that I've probably got a letter from the post office saying that I need to pay. We'll see how much it is. If it's a stupid amount of money, I'll just let them return it. What I might do is, if it goes back, let them return it, and then maybe I'll get them to send it out again to somebody in the States. to one of my friends. You've been enjoying the small wood carving. Well, I'm glad that it got through. Which number did you get, Miles? Which pipe number did you get? Let me see. Remind me. Well, it is a good item description because it's true. And to be honest, nowadays you have to put a code number, an HS code number. LCS 23? That's very high. You have to put in a customs code. So for me to put in tobacco and put in a code for tobacco item, it's going to get stopped, and there's going to be customs for every customer I send a pipe to. So I had to find something which was truthful, but wouldn't attract attention. So small wood carving is true. It's a small wood carving, and I looked up wood products, and that's the code that I use. So it's all completely honest and above board. Pipe 23. Let me see. LCS pipe. It wouldn't have been called pipe LCS at that stage, would it? Oh, I'm getting some copper pipe manufacturer coming up. Let's do London Calling. I'm not seeing what pipe 23 is, so $765. So what was pipe 23? LCS 23. 765 makes more sense. Oh, right, that's the one with the horizontal grain. That's that one there. Really interesting grain on that pipe. Mm. 23 is the year of production. So the number of the pipe is on the sock. It's not on the pipe. 23 is the year of production. I think if I would ever get a laser engraver to do my nomenclature, then maybe then I would put the pipe number on the pipe. But at the moment, I'm not doing that. I bought an engraver once to try it out, a laser pecker, but I couldn't get it to work in a successful way. And I think a lot of people like the traditional stamps, the handmade stamps. Sometimes they can be a bit irregular because it's done by hand. But there's a certain oldie feel kind of to it, original sort of traditional feel to a handmade, hand stamped nomenclature compared to the. I feel that the sort of laser ones. It's not to say that I wouldn't do it in the future, but at the moment, the way I feel about it is that laser engraving is it kind of, it's very sort of, it is a professional finish, but it's also, it takes away a bit of the personal aspect. It becomes a little bit sort of industrious. It's a bit industrial kind of thing. I mean, I have pipes which have been laser engraved, and they're very nice. The Talamona that I got in Italy, that's laser engraved. So I'm not people who do laser engraving, but as I say, I may well do that myself in the future. But I do think there's a traditional feel to pipes that have got hand stamps on them. What's the time? 1:30 already. Guys, I'm going to have to go because I've got an early start tomorrow. Thanks, guys, to those of you who stayed on tonight, and I'm sorry that I was late. For now, I'm going to wish you well. It's a bit difficult for me to go through the names, so I'm going to say thank you to all of you in one go. When I'm at home, I have my screen in front of me. I can go through all the history and see who's there. But forgive me if I don't do that tonight. I wish you all well, and thank you for that. Yes, hopefully we'll have a safe drive home tomorrow. We're going to try and make a day of it because we have to be out so early. We're going to try and go to a car boot sale. We'll pack up the car and drive out with the car packed up, and we're hoping to go to a car boot sale. So maybe there'll be a video of that. We'll see if it's interesting. It depends on the weather as well. So I'm going to try and split the journey up a little bit because it's a 4-hour drive, 4.25-hour drive. So I might maybe go to a car boot sale, which there's one here which is maybe a half an hour's drive away. Go to that, see how long we hang around there, and then maybe we'll drive a couple of hours and then maybe stop off somewhere else and have a little break and then drive the last 2 hours home. We'll see how we go. But for now, I'm going to wish you well. Thanks very much for joining me. I'll catch you on the next one.